Welcome to Culture Alley Mandarin. Ni hao. This is Basic Mandarin Lesson 22. Today, we will learn about describing people using different adjectives. Let's start by going over some of the phrases that you learned in the last lesson. Hobbies translates as 爱好, while like becomes 喜欢. To draw becomes 画画. And lastly, usually translates as 平时. Excellent! Next, we will review a few phrases we learned earlier. What are your hobbies translates as 你有什么爱好? While I like drawing becomes 我喜欢画画. Wonderful will be 太好了. And what do you usually like to do is translated as 你平时喜欢做什么? Great! Now let's take a look at some more words we learned previously. Shopping translates to 逛街, while to watch becomes 看. Movie translates as 电影, while swimming becomes 游泳. Similarly, sports translates to 运动. And to play or playing is translated as 打. Finally, a trip translates to 旅. Good! Let's look at a few more sentences. I like shopping translates to 我喜欢逛街. While I don't like watching TV becomes 我不喜欢看电视. Similarly, I like watching movies becomes 我喜欢看电影. And I like swimming is translated as 我喜欢游泳. The sentence, I don't like swimming, I like sports, translates as 我不喜欢游泳，我喜欢运动。And I also like playing basketball will be 我也喜欢打篮球。Finally, I also like to travel becomes 我也喜欢旅游。Very good. Let's quickly review the conversation between Mark and Lisa. As always, first in English, followed by Mandarin. Hello, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am also good.
What are your hobbies?
I like drawing.
Wonderful.
What do you usually like to do?
I like swimming.
I don't like swimming. I like sports.
I also like playing basketball.
I also like to travel. Now let's hear it in Mandarin. 你好，你好吗？
我很好，你呢？
我也很好。
你有什么爱好？
我喜欢画画。
太好了。
你平时喜欢做什么？
我喜欢游泳。
我不喜欢游泳，我喜欢运动。
我也喜欢打篮球。
我也喜欢旅游。 Great! Now let's move on to today's lesson. Today, we shall describe people using multiple adjectives. We will end by describing two different people, so let's take a look. In the first case, we will describe a man named Tom. Here's how we'll describe him. He is Tom. He is an old man. He is kind and patient. He is tall and has white hair. In the second case, we will describe a girl called Susan. Here we go. She is Susan. She is Chinese. She loves to study. She is intelligent. Let's start by learning some of the vocabulary involved in describing Tom. Let's start with he is Tom. Here's the word-by-word translation of this sentence. He translates to 他 is becomes 是 and Tom translates as 汤姆. 汤姆 is said with a high level tone on A and a mid-rising tone on U. Great! Now let's take a look at the second sentence. He is an old man literally translates as he old very in Mandarin. To translate this, we first need to look at the particle le. Here's a quick grammar tip for you. Le can imply a lot of things in Mandarin. It is most commonly used to express the completion of an action. That is to say that it has already been done. However, it is also used to show an excessive emotion, either happy or sad, and is used in the following sentence to mean very. Le either comes directly after a verb or at the end of the sentence. Great! Now let's look at the word-by-word translation for this sentence. He translates to 他. Old becomes 老. And very translates as le. An important point to note here is that the to be verb is not translated with adjectives in Mandarin. Thus, the sentence literally translates as he old very. Thus, he is an old man translates to 他老了, literally implying he old very. Note how le comes at the end of the sentence. Great! Now let's look at the vocabulary required to say he is tall and has white hair. Let's begin with tall. Tall becomes 高 and carries a high level tone like 高. Good! Hair translates as 头发 and carries a mid-rising tone on O, making it 头发. Great! Now let's learn to say white. White translates as 白, which is pronounced with a mid-rising tone. Good! Here's something you need to remember. In Mandarin, we cannot use the to be verb with adjectives. Thus, to replace it, we use the word 很, meaning very. So he is tall literally translates as he very tall in Mandarin. Let's look at the breakup of this sentence. He becomes 他, while very translates as 很, and tall becomes 高. Thus, he is tall becomes 他很高. In Mandarin, he has white hair literally translates as he has hair white very, where very is denoted by the particle le and has by the possessive particle de. Breaking it down word by word, he translates to 他, while has becomes de. Hair translates as 头发. White becomes 白. And finally, very translates as le. Recall that de is a possessive particle that makes he into his. Thus, he has white hair translates as 他的头发白了. Very good. Let's see the next sentence. He is kind and patient translates as he is kind, moreover, has patience. We use moreover as and is not used as a linking word for adjectives in Mandarin. Let's learn the vocabulary required to say this sentence. Kind becomes 慈祥, which uses a mid-rising tone on both I and A, making it 慈祥. Good! Moreover translates as 而且, which is spoken using a mid-rising tone on the first E and a falling rising tone on the second. Thus it becomes 而且. Great! Patience or patient translates as 耐心, which uses a falling tone on A and a high level tone on I, making it 耐心. Wonderful! Now let's take a look at the breakup of the sentence. He becomes 他, while is translates as 是. Kind is 慈祥, and moreover translates as 而且. Has, from the verb to have, translates as 有. And finally, patience becomes 耐心. Therefore, he is kind and patient becomes 他慈祥而且有耐心. Literally meaning, he is kind and has patience. Alright, let's see if you remember what we've learned till now. How do we say tall in Mandarin? Do we say 高 or 老? Or is it 白? Tall translates to 高 in Mandarin. Here's another one. What does 慈祥 mean in Mandarin? Does it mean kind? Or patient? Or does it mean white? 慈祥 literally means kind in Mandarin. Hope you got that one right. How do we say patient in Mandarin? Do we say 耐心 or 而且? Or do we say 头发? Patient is said as 耐心 in Mandarin. Here's the last one. How do we say he has white hair in Mandarin? Do we say it as 他的头发白了? Or does it become 他的头发了白? Or is it simply 他了头发白的? He has white hair translates as 他的头发白了. Hope you got that one right. Great! Let's review what we've covered about Tom. He is Tom becomes 他是汤姆. While he is an old man becomes 他老了. He is tall translates as 他很高. Similarly, he has white hair becomes 他的头发白了. And finally, he is kind and patient is translated as 他慈祥而且有耐心. Excellent! Now let's move on to the next case. Susan. Susan is studious and intelligent. Let's learn to describe her. The first sentence is simple. She is Susan. She is Susan translates as 她是苏珊, where Sushan is pronounced with two high-level tones, one on U and the other on A. Good! Let's break up the next sentence, which is, she is Chinese. She translates as 她 is becomes 是, while Chinese becomes 中国. Finally, person translates as 人. Thus, she is Chinese becomes 她是中国人. Literally, she is Chinese person. Great! The next sentence we will cover is, she loves to study. Let's look at the vocabulary for the same, starting with to love. To love or love translates as 爱, which is pronounced using a falling tone, like 爱. Good! To learn or to study becomes 学习, where 学习 is pronounced with a mid-rising tone on both E and I. Let's now break up the sentence, she loves to study. She translates to 她, while loves becomes 爱. And study translates as 学习, literally translating as she loves study. Thus, she loves to study becomes 她爱学习. Great! Let's look at the vocabulary required for the next sentence. Intelligent or smart translates as 聪明, which is pronounced with a high-level tone on O and a mid-rising tone on I, becoming 聪明. Here's a quick grammar tip for you. Unlike English, the to be verb 是, that is, am, is, are, in Chinese is not used with adjectives good, bad, etc. Thus, we commonly use the word 很 instead of the to be verb 是. Let's break down she is very intelligent. She becomes 她. Very translates as 很, and intelligent becomes 聪明. Note that the to be verb is not translated here, as we are using the adjective intelligent. Thus, she is very intelligent becomes 她很聪明. Great! All right, let's quickly review all that we've covered till now. She is Susan translates as 她是苏珊. And she is Chinese becomes 她是中国人. She loves to study will be 她爱学习. While she is intelligent translates to 她很聪明. Great! Let's have a quick quiz to see if you remember what we've covered. How do we say to love in Mandarin? Is it 爱 or 很? Or does it become 学习? To love translates as 爱 in Mandarin. Hope you aced that one. How do we say intelligent in Mandarin? Do we say 聪明 or 点? Or do we say 人 instead? In Mandarin, intelligent literally translates as 聪明. Here's another one. how do we say she is intelligent in Mandarin? Do we say 她是很聪明? Or is it 她是聪明? Or does it become 她很聪明? The correct answer to the previous question is 她很聪明. That's all for the day. Let's take a look at the vocabulary we've learned so far. Tom translates as 汤姆, while old becomes 老. Very or excess becomes 了, while tall translates as 高. Similarly, hair becomes 头发. And white is 白, while kind is 慈祥, and moreover translates as 而且. Finally, patient translates as 耐心. Excellent! Here are some more words we learned today. Susan will be 苏珊, while Chinese becomes 中国. Love translates as 爱. And finally, study becomes 学习. Good! Alright, it's time for the culture leaf of the day. The Forbidden City was the Chinese imperial palace from the Ming Dynasty to the end of the Qing Dynasty. It is located in the middle of Beijing, China, and now houses the Palace Museum. The common English name, the Forbidden City, or 紫禁城, referred to the fact that no one could enter or leave the palace without the emperor's permission. Zhu Di, a Yongle emperor, began the construction of the Forbidden City that lasted more than 14 years and employed more than 1 million workers. Material used include whole logs of precious Phoebe Junnan wood found in the jungles of southwestern China and large blocks of marble from quarries near Beijing. The Forbidden City was designed to be the center of the ancient walled city of Beijing. It is enclosed in a larger, walled area called the Imperial City. The Imperial City is, in turn, enclosed by the inner city. To its south lays the outer city. The image here is of the Forbidden City viewed from the Jingshan Hill to the north. In the next lesson, we shall discuss more on describing people, where we will cover 2 more characters to learn about adjectives in detail. Hope you enjoyed your lesson today. See you at the alley for the next one.